Welcome to Dirt Road Discussions, the podcast where we're all about agriculture all the time. Broadcasting from the Idaho Farm Bureau Federation headquarters. We introduce you to people from all over the country who are keeping agriculture growing strong. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just someone curious about where your food comes from, you're in the right place. So let's take a journey down the dirt road.
Hey, and welcome to all our dirt roadies out there to the podcast that is always stable. Dirt Road Discussions. I'm your host, Cam Hammond. Ott Clark is with me once again, and he is the co-host of Dirt Road Discussions. Ott, great to be with you.
Yeah, it's a glorious day over here.
Great day. Tell our friends hi out there.
Hey, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Good to have you hear our voices.
Yes, we definitely do appreciate our listeners. And even though we haven't met most of them, we do consider all of them our friends. So thanks for spending some time with us as we strive to bring you ag-focused conversations that matter. So new DRD episodes drop every other Tuesday, so be sure to subscribe so you never miss a trip with us down the dirt road. I know you are a fan of cash.
Ooh, that's true.
And I heard you have a money gun. Is that right?
I do own a couple money guns, you bet.
So you like to make it rain occasionally,
yeah,
as
you
the
bet.
kids say? Okay. Good. Yeah, I don't remember us ever talking about maybe financial type things. So I'm wondering, in your household, are you the one handling the finances? Are you making the budget? Are you doing all those things? Or is that your wife?
My wife is 100% in charge of our finances. I am almost positive every time that we fuel up that we've got enough money to fuel up a truck. And that's all I really need to know. Is that we've got $100 in our bank account.
Good.
Yeah. She handles everything very well.
I figured as much.
Yeah. Yours?
You know, I do more of that because my wife is not a fan. But yeah, as far as purchases go, of course, we're always working together and make those big purchases. But what about an impulse buyer? Are you an impulse buyer, or do you think about something before you make a purchase?
I am a thrifty is the nice word. Cheap is what I really am. I'm a very cheap guy. And my wife, again, would attest to that.
Yeah. She would vouch for that. Okay. Yep. So no impulse buys.
Nope,
whatsoever.
not me. Not my style.
Okay. For the most part, I'm pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. However, I did meet this guy the other day, and he had the most awesome hat I've ever seen.
Ooh.
Had a cow on it.
Okay.
It was a golf hat.
Okay.
I had to go find
you bought it,
and I bought it.
Oh, good for you. I bought it,
so I am looking forward to wearing that hat around.
Good.
So anyway.
I can't wait to see it.
So I've been thinking about finances, and I came across some information related to different currencies from around the world. And I thought, what the heck? Let's have a money-related edition of Ott Shots.
I am so excited.
I bet. You're not going to be excited as I get into this because this is not easy.
Okay.
I have made this as hard as possible, and you are going to... I'm going to be surprised. Well, actually, you might get one.
Okay.
But we'll see. Okay. So
here's
how it's going to go. Your job is to guess what country in the world uses this currency that I'm going to mention.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to throw in an ag fact about that country.
Okay. Deal.
All right. Okay. First one, you're going to get this one, but this country uses the peso.
The peso, I believe that is Mexico.
Correct. Easy softball question to begin with.
One down.
So Mexico is the world's largest avocado exporter. You didn't know that, so...
Gotta love guacamole, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2. Much harder from here. This country's currency is called the baht.
The baht. That is, of course, from Yugoslavia.
Is that even a country anymore? Isn't it the former Yugoslavia?
Then I meant Ukraine.
Okay.
Where is bahts from? Where would I spend a baht?
You would spend a baht in Thailand.
Thailand.
Thailand is also one of the world's top rice exporters.
Okay.
Yeah. Baht in Thailand. Okay, number 3. This country uses the AL.
Could I get the spelling of an AL?
REAL. So it looks like real, but it's HAL or AL.
That does not help me. I'm going to say that would be over in the Dominican Republic.
You know, you're right in the right hemisphere, but Brazil. Okay. Brazil is one of the world's largest exporters of soybeans, beef, sugar, and coffee. So
I knew those facts.
Yeah, Brazil. Okay. Next one. This country uses shillings.
Shillings. Ooh, I should know this.
That's one that maybe
this seems like what England used to use.
You would think it would be a European country, but it's not.
Oh.
Think Africa.
South Africa, then.
Okay. A little bit more north.
North Africa. Egypt.
North Africa, everybody. Egypt, no. Kenya. Yeah, of course, right?
Shillings. I did not know that.
Kenya. Again, tea and coffee, major exports there in Kenya. All right, the last one here. This one's kind of fun. It's the slow tea.
Slow tea?
Slow tea.
Also Africa, of course. And so I'm going to put that in Nigeria.
I'm sorry. That is incorrect, Ott. And you're in the wrong continent.
Not the right continent
either. Got to go
either.
back up to the European area. Poland.
Yeah,
of course. Okay. Poland. And if you didn't know, Poland is one of Europe's biggest potato producers.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. You find a spud in Poland. Anyway, Ott, here's a hypothetical. If Idaho had its own currency, what do you think it'd be called?
Ooh, the Idaho currency. Gems. Could they be gems?
Okay.
I feel like that's a really good guess, actually.
That is a good guess. I was thinking maybe Spud.
Oh.
Okay. But gems is good.
Okay. I mean, I could see Spud. That would make sense, I guess.
Yeah. I am sorry here. I didn't do you any favors.
I think I got one.
You got one.
Okay. I'll take it.
You survived. So I mentioned Spud, and that's going to be a central theme to our conversation here. But we've talked about water, we've talked about markets, cattle, farm labor, we've talked about all these things, but there's something that you probably didn't expect to hear in the same sentence as Idaho agriculture, and that is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency. So specifically, a potato cryptocurrency. That's right, Spud, the crypto potato. So stay with me here, because whether or not you're into crypto and still maybe don't understand it, this conversation is really about innovation. It's about rural entrepreneurship and about how this technology could have a place in agriculture. So let's dig a few rows together and see what happens when dirt meets digital here on Dirt Road Discussions, where every bump tells a story. All right. The moment we've all been waiting for. We are thrilled to be joined by our guest today, who is an innovator who can help us understand the crypto sphere and its place in ag. And that person is Cody Holm. Cody is a fifth-generation potato farmer out of Roberts, Idaho, and is also the founder of Spud, the crypto potato. So, Cody, thanks so much for joining us here on Dirt Road Discussions, and how are you?
I'm good. I appreciate the invite to come talk about this topic. Absolutely.
Yeah. We don't know much about crypto, but we are excited to learn. And thanks for enduring Ott's shots there. He tries.
That was good. I don't think I would have got one of those.
Yeah.
Other than the Idaho one.
Yeah.
So, Cody, would you mind just starting off the podcast just by telling us a little more about yourself and about your background?
Sure. So like you said, I'm a fifth generation potato farmer. I'm also an entrepreneur, I guess you could say. I own several companies, from a heavy equipment dealership, trucking company, and then obviously a digital currency company. And so I don't know. I think it's just a problem I have is just when I start something, I go all in and just kind of go down with the ship, or we keep selling, one of the two. So, yep. And so we kind of saw a problem in the market. With instant payments, that kind of stuff. And I've been in cryptocurrency for probably 10 years, maybe 10 plus years. And really, really enjoyed using that, and just getting away from banks is what I use that for. And I kind of saw a problem where how I was using cryptocurrency and how it could help the agriculture community. So that's kind of how it started. The name actually came from, I believe my father came up with the name Spud. He thought that'd be a great name for a cryptocurrency.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we kind of ran with it from there.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Cody, I want to get us started with like a fifth grade level explanation of two terms that I've heard, blockchain and cryptocurrency. Can you give us like an elementary level explanation of those two items?
Absolutely. So first cryptocurrency, right? That's your digital currency. That can go from your major staples like Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, that the big boys, all the way down to little meme coins that nobody's ever heard of. And those are all your cryptocurrencies, and they're all a little different. I mean, you're talking similar to like penny stocks down here in the meme coins, and then you got like your S&P 500. You've got all the well-known, house-known names. And blockchain is, I think it's more simple than people think it is. I mean, you could literally just have a ledger, a book with blank pages in it. And as soon as a transaction's recorded, it's recorded, like say I transfer you some Spud from my wallet to yours. That is recorded on the blockchain forever. It cannot be erased. It cannot be removed. It can't be altered. It's recorded there forever. So it also can replace bookkeeping because every transaction is there and it's there for life. So, I mean, that's in essence what blockchain is. Now, there's different blockchains. Some move quicker than others. Some have different payment rails. Some have different securities. But in general, that's what a blockchain is. It's just a ledger.
So essentially then it's a digital ledger that everyone can view.
Yep.
And basically everyone is accountable for. It's probably really hard to change something on that ledger, right? You can't change it.
Okay. You cannot change something once it's on the blockchain. It's there. Same with a crypto coin. Once it's minted for life. And then the notion of, like you said, what is crypto? Well, when you mint a crypto, you obviously going to put a supply to it. So how many, right? And then that's how many are minted. And each one has a serial number for life. So it's very easily tracked. I know that narrative was out there for a long time. I think I know where it came from, but I don't know if I can talk about that. But it came from our government. I won't say where, but and I believe they used it to catch terrorists. They kind of let that narrative out that you can't trace Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and whatever. But I think they were busting terrorists left and right with it because they understood it's on the blockchain. Though they know exactly where these transactions are and who they're going to. So they figured that out and they went back to cash. So.
Gotcha.
So let me get this straight. I buy a Spud token, and then I use them to purchase an implement for my farm, and then the owner of that implement buys a tractor for their farm, and then somebody else can look back at that token and say, okay, it's been used to buy a tractor and it's been used to buy an implement. And so that way they can know that this is a real, this has value, correct? That's how the use for it.
So there, it's a little more complicated than that. So you have your crypto coin, which is Spud, right? The Spud token. That is the investment side of it. You can invest in that. You can, DOC, which dollar cost DCA, dollar cost average. Sorry. With that, what it goes up. I mean, right now we're fluctuating from 1 million to 4 million market cap, and we're brand new. So, and that's we're doing well for being brand new. That way, I mean, you can get your position, keep your position, and pull profits off of it the whole time. That's the exciting part. Is the investment part is Spud. Spud USD is a stable coin. Now, that never moves from the dollar. It's backed by U.S. Treasury. It's T-bills. That's what it's backed by. So that in essence would be what you use to buy a tractor or buy whatever. You can transfer that to anybody and that will also on-ramp and off-ramp into fiat currency. So right back into cash. Now, technically, you could do that with Spud. You can do that with any crypto coin. But I don't know if you'd want to throw like $300,000 into Spud and want to get that back out the next second. You could do that. But a stable coin never moves, right? It just follows the dollar. If you threw $300,000 into a crypto coin like Spud or any others, they can go up and down. So you may not get that $300,000 back. It may be 290 or maybe it's 310. The volatility is there.
Yeah.
So that is the investment side of it is Spud, and the stable coin is the payment system for it. So you could absolutely do that right into the stable coin, Spud USD, buy a tractor, whatever, and then it goes on to that ledger, that blockchain. And then you can see, okay, this wallet bought this with this wallet, and it's there forever. And I believe that it is we are going that direction. Big banks are now getting into that, and they can see everything's getting tokenized, and the back end payment system is so cheap and efficient. It's an instant payment. There's no lag time. There's no holidays. It works 24/7. So they can see that. That's why they're getting into it now with the Clarity Act coming. The Genius Act already passed. That was basically the stablecoin act. That was institutions are now able to use stable coins on the back end. So I know that big companies like Walmart, Amazon, or whatever have used pilot programs on their back end without even, the public doesn't even know that you're using blockchain, but we are, in their test programs. Because like a company like Visa would charge maybe, I don't know what they charge on the back, 2%, 3%. Well, a stable coin is maybe 0.0001 maybe for one transaction. So it's very efficient and it's very cheap. So everyone is going towards that. And so I kind of just thought, agriculture always gets left behind in technology, no matter what. They get left behind in everything, it seems like. And it's something that I was kind of really familiar with, and I really like the technology. I use the technology. That's how I bank. I use crypto to bank. I don't use banks. And so I just implemented it into agriculture to where what we're building right now could be used in any sector, not just potatoes, but any sector in the agriculture world. Ag finance companies could use this to transfer loan payments, lines of credit, payments. The processors could absolutely pay other processors with this, trucking companies, farmers, the whole deal. And it's just as fast, efficient, no wire fees, ACHs are gone, waiting for a check in the mail. It seems like a lot of farmers wait 6 to 7 months sometimes for a check in the mail. Yeah. So, and there's a lot to that. And like I said, with the stable coin, we're only in phase 1, and there's 3 phases to it. Phase 1 is obviously, yes, any company can onboard and use it as a back-end payment system. Phase 3 is the public can use it. And that's where you're talking, it's kind of a 3D dimensional product. You can earn interest off of liquidity pools. You can do futures off of a stable coin. You can lend off of a stable coin, or you can just park your money in there and earn rewards, is what I have to say, the word rewards. So, and I think right now they stable coins bounce back and forth from 3.2 to 4%. So they pay a little more than banks do right now. They're faster, they're more efficient. And in my mind, it's the whole DeFi thing, the decentralized finance, getting away from banks, getting away from finance companies, and you have the power of your finances. And that's what crypto is all about. And a lot of other variables in there. So hopefully that made sense.
That helps.
I'm picking up 40%, which is 40% more than the 0% I had earlier.
So I would say then that's probably the main driver for a lot of the people using crypto or moving more to crypto is just, it sounds like there's more control, more power over your finances and what you want to do, as opposed to having a centralized institution waiting on them, right? Would you say that, Cody? Okay.
Absolutely. I believe that's why crypto started in the first place.
Okay.
Was to get to DeFi, get away from, centralized banks, get away from all of that and have the power in your own hands. Yeah. So your finances, you control them instead of, what banks will give you a car loan for, if you got good credit, 7%, medium credit, 10, 12, terrible credit, 20, with maybe a 40% down. There's a whole nother world there that is on cryptocurrency, blockchain, stable coins that you can use as your banking system. I mean, you can lend from yourself off of a stable coin, and you're just paying yourself that interest instead of obviously a bank or whatever. So there's a lot of different options, I think, that are coming, and they'll be a lot more in the public's eye in 3 to 4 years, I think. And I do think we're moving a little faster than that because blockchain and AI are connected. And once the Clarity Act is passed, I think that'll open a lot of people's eyes on, especially institutions. They're getting in, and all the big banks are getting in right now. They're already ready to tokenize and use stable coins. They're kind of doing some shady stuff right now. The Clarity Act was about to pass, and the big banks jumped in right at the last minute and did some provisions. And basically in a nutshell, and hopefully I'm saying this correctly, they said nobody can earn stable coin rewards except our stable coins. So, and that's a big no. And that's why Brian Armstrong from Coinbase backed out. And he was one of the major leaders in developing this with Congress. And so he backed out, and that stopped the whole bill. And now they're fighting it out in there. But hopefully we get some clarity on that. I believe they said April would probably go through. But that will allow that now allows banks to come in and hold my crypto if you want. Some see that as a good thing, some bad, but either way, it does start moving us into the digital currency. Yeah. And I don't think the dollar will go away, but I think it may be backed by digital currency. Okay. Rather than backed by whatever it's backed by right now.
And if I could follow up to that, so that notion of getting away from, a bank or a centralized agency or whatever, I would imagine initially that was frowned upon by maybe the government or whatnot. And I think in the past, right, crypto hasn't been treated as fairly, but I think now, right, with the Trump administration, there's been more of a push towards embracing crypto, and with some of this legislation. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Absolutely. When he says, "Hey, we're going to make crypto America the crypto capital of the world," I do think he means it. I mean, we've passed the Genius Act with Trump. The Clarity Act's coming. A lot of different things and bills are in there for digital currency that we don't even know about, or that I don't even know about, and I hear about them every other day. You look at the past administration, and all they did was just a war on cryptocurrency. There was lawsuits left and right all over the place, and in my opinion, they weren't warranted whatsoever. And then, obviously, right when the new administration came in, they dropped all the lawsuits. And I think that really was hurting and pulling down all the cryptocurrencies, but they were still thriving. Because I do believe that people, they want to be able to control their own finances. And I'm not saying we hate the banks, this and that. You may hate some of them, but like the local banks, they're great to work with, and I think that they will get involved. They will, and then that's where, Spud USD comes in. We want to build this infrastructure now. So when the Clarity Act passes, we're able to go to these smaller banks and they can just plug right into our back-end system. They can use that stable coin technology. Just plug right into it. It is literally easy as that. It'll plug into a bank account. It'll on-ramp, off-ramp right into another bank account instantly. And it's just a way to save money for them and the customer, to where no more wire fees, your $30, $40, whatever that is, the ACH. I know those are small and they're minimal costs, but over time they add up. Not to mention, you send a wire transfer, say it's a large transfer, $300,000 or something more on a Thursday, and maybe it's a holiday Monday. Where's that money sitting? Well, somebody's using that money. They're holding on to it. They're making interest on it or whatever. With a stable coin in the back end, using that as your payment system, you don't have that anymore. It's instant. It's on the payment rails instantly. You're talking a couple seconds, millions of dollars in a couple seconds. So, and I really, that technology really interests me. I think it's a way to get out of this, the banks are using your money, my money in the stock market, or lending it out this guy buys this, and then his money buys this.
Right.
just a circle goes around. I just think it's a way to take control, and everybody can use it. And I do think they will. So I think banks will jump in and start using stable coins. And I think it'll benefit everybody involved.
Awesome. Yeah.
You've mentioned a couple other cryptocurrencies. What is the difference between, let's say, Spud and Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin, I don't think there's a lot of use for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is just so popular because it was the first. Actually, it was the second, if you want to get technical, but the first big cryptocurrency. And it's gotten so big that now it's got 3 or 4 ETFs in the stock market. I mean, you can stake it, lend off it, pull shorts, pull longs. It's a legitimate stock. It's not going anywhere. And the supply is so small that the value is going to grow. I mean, in my opinion, I think obviously I could be wrong, could go to zero, but I do think it'll go past 300, 500,000 in the next 5 years, just because of the supply versus what's out there on the market and what you can buy. Bitcoin doesn't have a lot of use case. The others do, in my opinion. I actually copied Spud off of XRP. Ripple Labs owns XRP. And their main program and their main push is cross-border payments. They're going to be trying, or if not replacing, SWIFT. The old SWIFT payment, government to government payments, cross-border. And that's a whole nother level. And they are, XRP you can transfer money on that blockchain just seconds, and the fees are really low. So I copied that infrastructure, but in a smaller way. Obviously, I'm only targeting agriculture, small banks, farmers, growers, processors. That's who we're going after. But I did copy the XRP, kind of how they built that. But I built it on the Solana blockchain, the crypto coin, the stable coins on both. But the crypto coin built it on the Solana blockchain, because Solana's blockchain is one of the biggest in the world. And, all of the people who are in cryptocurrency, everybody always says, if XRP and Solana would just merge, that they would just dominate. But they do have use cases. Spud is the first, I hate this word, but I have to use it, but we are the first meme coin to have a stable coin attached to it ever. Even the big boys like XRP does have a stable coin. It's only a year old. So this is kind of a new thing coming in. You have the big players like USDC and Tether. Those two are the largest stable coins in the world. But the rest of it, there's no niche markets for, okay, what are agriculture people going to use? What are, and if we can make a market for them that's easy to use, just as easy as getting on your phone and here's your wallet, I'm going to send $100,000 here. Okay, I got to pay this farmer, I got to pay this or whatever. Which that's what we've built. I think it would really benefit, rather than them trying to go figure out how to use USDC or Tether or any of the big boys, because they don't have a platform set up like that. You can technically use that on a major exchange, like Coinbase or Binance or something like that. But I think building something specifically for an industry and making it just so a 6th grader can use it. If I can use it, everyone can use it. So you know what I mean? And that's what we're doing. We're just trying to make it so easy that it's just 2 clicks of a button, buy, sell, transfer. That's it. That's all we want on there. So, but the other, to your question, the other cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, they all have different use cases. I'll exclude Bitcoins. Like I said, I think it's just maybe digital gold is what it will be. Maybe it will back the dollar. That's kind of what everyone's saying. Solana has the blockchain, it has the payment rails, has the securities. XRP, cross-border payments. XLM, they say, will be like more of a public, a smaller scale XRP, but just for everyday purchases. So those top 10 cryptos have real use cases. And large institutions are diving in. When BlackRock buys 100 million worth of XRP or this or that, something's coming. They're not just jumping in there for no reason. But I do think all the institutions and the public now is starting to come around on digital currency versus what we're using right now.
Yeah. So it sounds like what you're trying to do is basically fill a need within the agriculture community with Spud. But before we jump more into that, I just want to learn a little bit more about your background, because you mentioned this a little bit, how, of course, you're a potato farmer. There's maybe been issues in the past with payments or with some of those things. And no one probably wakes up and says, I'm going to build a digital currency one morning, right? So
yeah.
I know you mentioned that you have some background in crypto, but how did this all start, and what prompted you to try and fill this need?
Well, like I said, I've probably been in crypto 10 years or so and done well. If you kind of understand the basis of chart reading and the market cycles, you can do well. It's nerve-wracking because crypto is volatile. And I like that. I like the volatility. I don't like getting in a stock and watching it just slowly. I like the ups and downs. That's where profits are made. But I had just a thought probably 2 years ago is when I started working on this. And we launched on December 5th of 25. But I've been working on it for a long time, but there was a lot to it to just go ahead and launch it. Another guy who I just partnered with, his name's Ryan Sino. He owns the Sino token. And I believe we are the only two meme coins to come out of that Solana blockchain with actual real use cases. He's basically doing what I'm doing, or I'm doing what he's doing, whatever. But he's doing it in the aviation world. He owns a big company that they fix private jets, and when they come in, they do all the repairs and everything like that. And so I I was an early investor in Sino and saw what he was doing. I was already working on a plan to try and do my own. And I kind of just saw how he was doing it. And then I went off of how XRP built theirs and just kind of went from there. But the need for it, I mean, you see farmers, 6 months, 5-6 months waiting for a check in the mail, from a grain elevator or potato processor. I'm not naming names, so I won't do that. But, just waiting a long time. And you could see how fast, if you're in that industry in the digital world, how fast it is. I mean, it's just instant. You can go buy a car right now in another country that accepts Solana, which there's a lot of them. You just hover your phone over there's $70,000 in 2 seconds, and the fee is just minimal to none, depending on what blockchain you're on. So I kind of saw that. I just thought, how can we put agriculture into the digital space? Well, we need our own cryptocurrency. That's where Spud came from. But we also need the payment system on the back end, and that's where stablecoins. That's what they do. But crypto is unique because the actual cryptocurrency itself can also do that as well. You can also, you can pay people in Spud. You can buy things with Spud. But the stable coin, that's where the big institutions will use, the banks, the processors. That's where big money will be moved in and out. And there's benefits to them using it and holding currency in there, large benefits, more than what well, I don't know all the secrets of the trade. Maybe they've got it in something that's paying them 9%. I don't know. But as far as I know, the banks don't pay as much as a stable coin to park money. And, these guys, I mean, there's probably a reason they're holding on to, the farmer's check for that long, parking it in something that I'm just guessing, but making some interest. Yeah. So it can benefit both the farmer and the processor. So I kind of thought, well, this kind of solves that problem. It's instant, no more checks, no more waiting on anything like that. And they both can, profit off just parking it in there, or just if they want it cash, they can just off ramp it right into fiat currency. So that's kind of how it came about in my mind, I guess, if that makes any sense at all.
It does.
Yeah. I need to know. So you started December 5th, 2025, correct? Yep. As of the date that we're filming or videoing this, it's, mid-February of 2026. Have you had some people buy into it? Or have people already started using it? Can you kind of take us through ways that it's being used?
Yeah. So right now, the Spud token is on all the major exchanges, which is not easy to do. We're on all the Solana wallets, and then we made it to Coinbase, which it's not easy to get on a major U.S. exchange, which Coinbase is the largest. I mean, if you start a cryptocurrency, that's your goal. If you can hit Coinbase, you've done your job. So we've had actually kind of up and down. We're in a down market right now. Just crypto took a massive sell off, massive hit, which we are in that 4-year cycle, which I can get into that later. But we kind of have bounced back from 1 million market cap to 4 million, which starting, 3 months old, that's really good. We have our project plugged into AI. AI gives us a grade every day, and how we're doing, if we can do better or whatnot. And we've had a good grade almost every day, other than when that huge Bitcoin sell-off happened. I think 500 billion in 2 hours of crypto was sold off. And that's part of the cycle. If you've been in this for a long time, this happens. And as a crypto guy, when that happens, I'm excited, because that is they call it a Bitcoin halving. It's a 4-year cycle. That's when you accumulate. That's when you buy. I mean, Solana right now is below $80, or maybe it was going up this morning. I don't know where it's at right now, but if you can buy Solana below 80, XRP below $1.40, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. As long as you don't panic sell. If you're holding already and you see your money go down, don't panic sell. Dollar cost average. If you bought up here, put the same amount in here, as much as you can afford, obviously. But put the same amount down here, and now your average is here. And then when it climbs, take profits. Don't just sit there and watch it. Take the profits. So we're doing that education right now. It's kind of a phase 1 launch for us, is education, obviously in the agriculture place. We went down to the expo in Dallas, and same conversations. Make sure you pull profits. Don't panic sell. Don't pull your entire thing because you made $200. You just lost your position. And this is a long-term thing, like Bitcoin, like XRP or Solana, whatever. It's a long-term. It's got real world use case. So as far as, in my eyes, it's a great investment to be in, just because I know where we're going. So yeah, I think that it is an educational process, but we're going through it. Yeah, we're going through it. We've had a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people have made money on Spud. You can go on there. It's all public, which is a really cool thing about cryptocurrency. You can go to any crypto and see what wallet bought what, and if they sold, how much they sold, how much they made, the whole deal. And we've had guys make, I don't know, 20, 30 grand so far, pulling profits, buying back in. And that's what we want. That's what it's all about, because that's the exciting part. Spud's the investment side of it. And then Spud USD, and there's also investments in that you can do, but that is the payment system side. So
you mentioned right now you're in the education phase, teaching people about crypto and its benefits. As you know, within agriculture, of course, you're a farmer. Farmers are very traditional, very conservative, right? And so how do you help people overcome some of that skepticism and help them maybe just be more open to the idea of it? Because I'm sure when you talk to some people, and maybe you could share an experience about a conversation in Dallas, as soon as they hear crypto, they think, that's a scam. I'm not going to hear about that, right?
Yep. Yeah, I had several guys do that, because you're right. They're more conservative, traditional, and I grew up that way, so I understand that world. So I'll give you an example. I had one guy come up, and he was gung-ho about, he wanted to argue about it. And he says, well, that's a scam. All of crypto is a scam. There's nothing backing it. And when he said that, I said, well, do you have $1 in your wallet? A dollar bill? Yeah. I said, well, what's backing that? What's backing that dollar? Well, I can hold it or whatever. I said, well, yeah. By the time you hold that right now to the time you leave, you just lost it. It's lost some value. That dollar's not worth $1 anymore. And we went away from the gold standard in the 80s, I think. So in my mind, when people say that, well, that's a scam, I think the dollar is a scam, 100%. Crypto, you can track publicly. When it goes on the blockchain, it's there for life. And yeah, obviously we need regulation and clarity. And that's why I was telling him that's what the Genius Act did for us. And now the Clarity Act, that gives us the rules and regulations because it needs regulated. Do crypto guys like myself want it regulated? No, we don't. But we understand to go into institutions and into the public, into banks, it needs regulation, obviously. It needs to be insured federally. It needs all of that. And that's coming with the Clarity Act. So as far as guys telling us to scam, I've been in business a long time and I've done well in some of my companies and some not so well. But in cryptocurrency, I've probably done the best I've ever done just in crypto. And if you understand it, it doesn't take that long to understand how it works. As a digital currency and stable coins and all of that. And once you really get to understand that, you can really invest in things, in projects that you believe in, that you've done your research, that, okay, this is a real company. They're going to solve a real problem. XRP, for example, cross-border payments, Solana with their blockchain, Ethereum's Wall Street's babies, that's not going anywhere. They like using that one. So each one has its own, but I think people intertwine the meme coin world with cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I disagree with that because you can, in the stock market, same thing. You're talking about penny stocks that just pop up out of nowhere and disappear all the time, but nobody talks about them. And then you've got your real, your S&P 500, the NASDAQ, all the, Tesla, whatever, stocks over here. And that's what I think crypto's built the same. You've got your meme coin world over here that, yeah, if you like to gamble and go play blackjack at a casino, it's a great time. But then you've got the real companies over here that are actually building real currency, real digital currency. And so those are the conversations I had with him. And it went pretty good. At the end of the conversation, he was like, all right, how do you buy some of this? So, and we had a few that were, that would just walk away. But for the most part, I'd say probably 95% of that whole expo was pretty positive.
Yeah.
And they were very interested. They've all heard of cryptocurrencies, but a lot of guys, when they hear crypto, they just think Bitcoin. They think crypto is Bitcoin. Yeah. And it's so much more than that. That's just the first cryptocurrency to go public,
But the meme coins, those are like the Doge coins and is that what those are?
Technically, yes.
Coins?
Technically, okay. A meme coin is any coin that doesn't have backing behind it. Okay. Like, doesn't have XRP was built by Ripple and Ripple Controls. That's a massive company.
Yeah.
Right. Doge, there's absolutely nothing behind Doge.
Just a dog. Is that?
Elon Musk, I think, mentioned it one time and it just took off. And I did well in Doge like 8 years ago. I did, and then it, whatever. But Doge is just a straight meme coin. Okay. But it got so popular that it's got an ETF now. So it's on the stock market. But in my opinion, those meme coins, Doge, Shiba, Pepe, whatever, if you are a gambling man and you can read charts, you can do well. I'm in all three of those. I have been for a long time, but I know that I'm not going to, that's just a gamble for me. That's, I would say maybe recreational. That's, but the other ones, those are the ones you stay in. You just like, if you're going to invest in a S&P, stock, you're going to stay in there for the long haul. I'm in the long haul for a lot of them. H-Bar, XRP, Solana, those are my main three, other than Spud, obviously. So I'm in those long haul, but the first name or the guy I mentioned, Sino, us two are, like I said, the only meme coins. We're going to change that word eventually. That actually have real world use case behind us. And so, I'm invested in Sino, he's invested in Spud. We're in it for the long term because we know what we have coming and what we're building. But the meme coin thing, I guess I can't say anything about Doge because it's made it all the way to the stock market. But the rest of them, I think that is, for me, that's a profit. That's a profit pulling mechanism.
Gotcha.
When those go up, I pull profits. And when they go down, maybe I'll buy back in. But I just play those. I just chart read the meme coin world. But the real ones, I'll stay invested in.
Okay.
Cody, Spud, what if I wanted to buy one right now? What's the cost to buy a Spud? Can I buy a 100th of a Spud token? And then, take me through, one of the other groups or programs that I could use my Spud token to buy something from.
So Coinbase, hands down, is the easiest. Download Coinbase. I don't know, it'll take you 10 minutes to download it on your phone if you don't already have it. Link your bank account, and then you can just purchase Spud. You'll just type Spud in the search bar and pull it right up. I believe it's trading right now. It's on a discount right now. I think it is 0.001, I think is where we're at right now. So I guess my advice for that would be whatever you can afford, maybe whatever you spend going out on the weekend. I would say that, unless you're, whatever you're feeling, if you're feeling like gambling a little bit. But I think it's actually really easy to purchase and move around. Because you can move that coin around to any other wallet with just the wallet address. And the wallet address is on there on every coin. Every coin has a CA contract address. So, but yeah, you could just download Coinbase, purchase Spud. I think $100 gets you quite a few tokens. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. In my mind, for a new coin that's very cheap, like Spud or Sino, anything below that's fractions of a penny, and this is just my opinion, but I always try to get to 5 million coins. That way you really benefit from, okay, if it jumps 20%, I believe Spud went up 20% today, just this morning. And so when they go up 20%, 50%, 1,000%, that's when you're pulling profits. You're not pulling your entire, you don't want to lose your position, but you're pulling 10%, 5%, 10%, that kind of thing. You ride the wave up. But that is usually my goal is 5 million to 10 million on those cheaper ones. So it's pretty simple once you get on there. It's, if you're using your bank account app, it's a lot more complicated than Coinbase. So in my opinion, it's just transfer by a couple buttons and then you own Spud.
Cool.
Man, that's cool. That's exciting. And then when you do pull profits, again, you don't want to lose your position, but you pull those profits and then you can off ramp that, like you're saying, through fiat and cash out. Essentially, is that the instant, or is that? Am I understanding?
There's many ways to do that. You can pull it right into your cash account on Coinbase, or any wallet has a cash account.
Okay,
that's just where your cash is sitting. I don't do that. I put it into a stable coin. Obviously, I put it into Spud USD is on the wallets, but we're not using it yet. We're still in phase 1. So right now, when I do that, I put it into USDC, and that's where my profits sit. I don't ever transfer them into a bank. Obviously, if it's needed, I'll pull some USDC. All you do is hit withdraw right into your bank account. And it's usually within, depending on your bank, but usually a couple hours, hits your bank account. So it's actually very simple, very fast to transfer into your bank, out of your bank, because those exchanges, those wallets connect to it. I think they connect to it a lot better than most of these other ones, like an app that takes your bank account, like Plaid, I think is one of them.
Yeah.
Or I think Venmo uses Plaid maybe, or these other, whatever, these quick payment systems like PayPal or whatever. See, mine always disconnects from my bank all the time, my Venmo, and it takes me forever. I got to re-log in, retype in the account numbers, the routing number. I have never once had an exchange do that. They link and they're just done deal. So which makes it nice and quick and easy to use.
So if someone's maybe getting started buying some Spud tokens or getting involved in the crypto sphere, what are some things to be aware of? What are some easy rookie mistakes that one can make as they get started, and how would you recommend them going about it initially?
I think the largest rookie mistake, and you just do this from, being in it for so long, is panic selling. When cryptos start going down, and like I talked about before, the volatility, I mean, you got a chart that does this. When it starts going down, I think people think it's going to go to zero. And so they bought in right here and they see it going down. So they're down, they're negative in their account. And instead of waiting it out, which can be tough, it can be nerve-wracking, instead of waiting out, they panic sell and lose money, right? And then a week later, that crypto's up 20%. And I see that time and time again. It's just kind of a patience thing. And you do have to have a little bit of thick skin. I mean, when that 500 billion, I have a lot in most of my funds. I'd almost say majority are in cryptocurrencies, and USDC, the stable coin. That's my savings account. That's where I park everything. I mean, I was down large amounts, but I've been there before. Yeah. So when I see that, I just make sure to put all that in my cold storage wallet. That's an offline wallet. That's in my safe. I can't see it. And now you're not always watching it, Yeah, right. So I leave it in there. And then, when we have these big cycles like that, then if I can, I try to accumulate as much as I can, because I know where it's going. You can just look in the past, take that step back, look at that 30,000 foot overview. Okay. Here's the whole chart. And if you can see that and trust that, it's worked for me. It just take a step back and see where we're coming. And then, I mean, right now, I think do your research in what you're investing in. You can even do well in the meme coin world. If you know a certain meme coin's coming out and it's got a lot of hype behind it, and that's mostly what they are, is just hype. You can do well. You can buy in, it scales way up, pull your profits, get out of it. I wouldn't stay in one long term, but these others, I would just say, do your research. I've done a lot. I'm invested long term in a lot of different cryptocurrencies, and that's for a reason. XRP, I know where they're going. I know where Solana's going. I know where Bitcoin's obviously going. Actually, Bitcoin's the biggest question mark for me, but either way. But and these companies like Sino and Spud, I know where these are going. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to solve problems, and they have the capability of solving problems. We're way behind, I think, in the banking. The traditional banking system is way behind, and I think most people would agree with me on that. That it needs revamped, and I think this is where and how it does get revamped is digital currency. Yeah, I mean, Cody, you're a potato farmer. Mm-hmm. It's kind of in your DNA to be able to handle that volatility, right? Because 4 years ago, potatoes were $22 a hundred.
Doing great.
Doing awesome. And then now they're not so great. So it's part of what I'm glad you said that, because it is very similar to that. A potato farmer will lose money 4 years in a row and make money the fifth year to pay all the debts. So if you can weather that, if you're used to that, crypto should just come easy to you. Because crypto's fast. 1 month it's down, next month it's way up. 1 month it's down. You're not waiting 4 years, like a farmer would. So, So Cody, you're a fifth generation potato farmer. Tell us more just about your family's operation, because I mean, this podcast, agriculture is at the heart of it. So tell us about maybe growing up, working on the farm, and now as you're still farming and as you're working on this digital side of things. Tell us about, is your dad involved in crypto? Like, tell us just about that relationship and where you're at with your operation. So sure. So like I said, fifth generation potato farmer from Roberts. I think we were the first ones with a deep well out there west of Roberts and into the Osgood area.
Del Rey, like we talked about, is my grandpa. He was a potato legend. He was part of the NFO. I think he was the chairman of the NFO for a while in the 80s or 70s when it was pretty contentious and they were fighting with the farmers and the processors back and forth. We farm about 4,000 acres of spud and grain. And let's see, I think we've sold that farm. I think it's been split like 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. But as of right now, we're about 4,000 acres. And growing up, I mean, just like anybody in this area, just grew up on a potato farm, and that's just kind of the conservative values kind of thing. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, the crypto really aligns with that. I know that might sound crazy, but my old man is probably one of the most conservative guys you'd ever meet. He's a CFO type, an accountant type. I mean, he chews my butt for my accounting. He catches up with the books every day on a daily thing. I'll do it maybe every 6 months, maybe. So it's pretty rough. So we butt heads on that a little bit, but he wasn't in cryptocurrency. In fact, he called it a scam for a long time. And then maybe a year or two ago, we started getting him into it. It took a lot of talking and convincing, and hey, you should get into this, you should get into that. And, he'd just look at me like I'm crazy or whatever. And I think once he started making profit, then like with everybody, that changes your mind. He was an early spud investor, obviously, and he's done well with that. So it's kind of opened his mind up a little bit. And then now learning about stable coins. And that's more his type of world, right? That's where, okay, that's actually infrastructure. That's a back-end payment system. Mm-hmm. And the crypto side is investment. Mm-hmm. So he understands it now. I mean, he's a smart guy. So it doesn't take long to do a little bit of research and figure out what crypto and digital assets are all about.
Yeah, very cool.
Cody, as we wrap up on the Dirt Road Discussion podcast, we like to look down the road. What is your dream for the next 5 years for the, Spud the crypto potato?
I would say next 5 years, end goal would be probably to have small local banks using Spud USD as their back-end payment system. Have Spud Crypto keep doing what it's doing, keep growing. The market cap getting larger and larger and getting more well-known. But I'd say the end goal for me, what would be really exciting would be to have these large dealerships and potato processing plants. I won't forget them as well. But like a John Deere or a Case or New Holland or whatever on the top of their website, say we accept Spud USD as payment. That would be exciting to me. That's the end goal. And that's what we're going to try to do. I mean, we'll see what happens, but all they can do is say no, right? But I think we can solve a problem for them, and everybody benefits from it in large ways. So that would be the end goal: is to have these large agriculture companies really adopt the payment system and the cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Yeah. Well, once again, we have been joined by Cody Holm. Cody is a 5th-generation potato farmer from Roberts, Idaho, and is the founder of Spud, the crypto potato. So, Cody, a lot of information. There's a lot of education out there, like we talked about, that needs to be shared about crypto. First off, where can people find you, and then also maybe buy a Spud token, and then where do you recommend they go for just more education on this topic?
So you can find us. We've got a website that, and we're currently revamping the website, and we're constantly doing that, updating it. But you can go to that right now, and it's just spudcrypto.com. That gives a lot of information on our cryptocurrency and our stablecoin, and updates on the progress we're making on the different phases of building and developing the stablecoin side. The crypto coin's live now. Obviously, it just hit Coinbase. We're on all the major wallets, most of them, but Coinbase obviously is the big one. So obviously, I think that would be the easiest one to use if you're interested in getting into Spud now while it's early. And I do think it's early. We're in this bear market right now. I would just suggest getting in before April. I think that's when the Clarity Act passes. I do believe that will be a major boost in the economy and a lot of money going into stable coins and cryptocurrencies. So I think it's a great time to get in right now, and Spud is cheap right now. I mean, all the major cryptos are cheap right now. Spud's fractions of a penny, Cino's fractions of a penny. Just do your research on which ones you want to get in. Follow us on all the social medias. We're on all of them: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and our website.
Yeah. They've got some great merch too. So the
we
Spud
do have
sweater
merch
here
too.
is pretty dang awesome. I love that.
We got a whole line of merchandise on the website. It's cheap stuff. No, it's not cheap stuff. It's quality stuff, but it's for a cheap price. So go get you some of that.
Good deal. Well, Cody, we wish you the best moving forward with Spud, and we hope that one day you'll get there where you'll get on that John Deere website or that Case website and it'll say, we accept Spud here. So we wish you the best, again, moving forward, and it's been really informative. So we appreciate your time, and it's been great visiting with you. So
absolutely. Appreciate you having me on.
And with that, we'll wrap up another episode of Dirt Road Discussions, and we'll see you down the road.